Something is wrong in this garden. And the scary part? 3 days ago, this plant looked completely fine. Now look at it. Here's what I want you to understand before we go any further. What you're seeing right now is not a watering problem. It's not a nutrient deficiency. And it's definitely not something you can fix by adding more fertilizer. What's destroying this plant is something most gardeners never even think to look for. And by the time they figure out what it is, it's already too late. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. But first, I need you to see something that completely changed the way I look at every single plant in this garden. And once I show you this, you will never walk past your plants the same way again. Stay with me. Part 1. The secret life under the leaf. All right, come with me over here. Most gardeners, when they check their plants, they do this. They look at the top, they check the color, maybe they pinch a leaf, and if everything looks green and normal up here, they move on. They feel good, they think the plant is fine. But here's the thing, nobody tells you when you start gardening. The most dangerous threats in your garden don't live where you're looking. They live where you're not. Right here. Flip the leaf over. You see that silver streaking? That bronzing along the edge? Those tiny black specks that almost look like ground pepper scattered across the surface? That is not dirt. That is not disease. That is the signature of one of the most destructive insects in the home garden, and it is so small that most people walk past it every single day without ever knowing it's there. These are thrips. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. Thrips? I've heard of those. How bad can they really be? Hold that thought, because what I'm about to tell you about what thrips actually do to your plants is going to completely change the way you see them. It's not just the feeding damage. It's something far worse than that. But before I get there, I want to speak directly to those of you who've been commenting on my recent pepper videos. Several of you have been saying you're seeing what looks like a new type of thrip in your gardens this season, something more aggressive, something that doesn't respond the way it used to. You're not imagining it. The Western flower thrip has become significantly more resistant to conventional treatments over the last few seasons. And if you've been using the same spray and wondering why it stopped working, that's your answer. We'll come back to exactly how to handle that in just a few minutes. But first, I promised you something. I told you thrips are worse than most people think, and here is why. Thrips aren't just feeding on your plants, they are vectors. That is a biological term that means they carry disease and inject it directly into your plant tissue as they feed, like a needle moving from one patient to the next without being sterilized. One infected thrip moves across your garden, and it can spread tomato spotted wilt virus, pepper mottle virus, and impatiens necrotic spot virus to every plant it touches. All three are devastating. None of them have a cure. Once a plant is infected, that plant is done. And here is the part that should stop you cold. The virus spreads before you see symptoms. Your plant can look completely healthy on Monday. By the time you see the first sign of distress on Friday, the virus has already moved to 3 other plants in your bed. This is why a wait-and-see approach doesn't just fail with thrips. It costs you your entire harvest. You're not treating the problem anymore, you're mourning it. So what do? I'm about to show you. And I want you to pay close attention to the next part, because the solution is simpler than you think. But there is one critical step that almost everyone skips. And that one step is the difference between a spray that works and a spray that does absolutely nothing. Part 2. The Organic Shield Spray. All right, let's build the shield. This is what I call the Organic Shield Spray. 2 ingredients, 5 minutes to make. And if you apply it the way I'm about to show you, it will disrupt the thrip life cycle at every single stage. But I want to say something important before we mix anything. The spray is not the hardest part. Mixing it takes 2 minutes. The hard part, the part that determines whether this actually works or whether you wasted your time, is the technique. And I'm going to walk you through that right after we mix this. Don't skip that part. Here's what goes in. 1 liter of lukewarm water, not hot, not cold. Hot water will degrade the neem oil and break down its active compounds before it even hits the plant. Then 1 full tablespoon of cold-pressed neem oil. This is your active ingredient. Neem contains a compound called azadirachtin, and what it does is remarkable. It doesn't just kill thrips on contact, it disrupts their hormonal system. It stops them from being able to feed properly. It prevents them from molting, which means they can't grow into adults. And it interferes with their reproductive cycle, so they can't lay eggs. You're not just killing what's there, you're collapsing the entire population. Then half a teaspoon of pure Castile soap. No fragrance, no additives, just plain Castile. This is your emulsifier. It forces the oil and water to actually combine instead of separating. Without this, your neem oil just floats to the top and the spray becomes completely useless. The soap also helps the solution cling to the leaf surface instead of rolling straight off. Shake it hard, and I mean that every single time before you spray. Shake the bottle again. These ingredients will start to separate within minutes. If you're spraying water with a little neem sitting at the top, you're wasting your time. Now, the technique. And I need you to really watch this because this is the step I promised you. The step that most people skip. The step that makes everything else work or fail. Thrips do not live on top of your leaves. They hide underneath them. They tuck into the joint where the stem meets the branch. They bury themselves deep inside the canopy where the leaves are most tightly packed, where no spray ever reaches, unless you deliberately go looking for them. This is why so many people spray their plants and get zero results. They're spraying the wrong surface. You have to get under every leaf, coat those undersides completely, get into every fold, every joint, every protected space in that plant. If you are not physically crouching down and spraying upward from below, you are missing the majority of your target. Take your time. Work the entire plant from the bottom up. Don't rush this. Now, and this is critical, never spray in the middle of the day. The heat and the oil together will burn your leaves. You'll cause more damage than the thrips ever did. And if you spray when pollinators are working midday, full sun, you will harm your bees. The same bees your garden depends on to produce fruit. Your window is early morning before the sun gets high, or late evening after it starts to drop. The temperature is cooler, the bees are done for the day, and the spray has time to dry and bond to the leaf surface before any heat hits it. That is your only window. Protect it. Now the spray handles what's already in your garden today. But there is a second layer to this system that most people never think about. And honestly, it is the most powerful thing I'm going to share with you in this entire video. Because this is the reason some gardens get completely wiped out every single season, while others never seem to have problems at all. I'll show you right now. Part 3. The Garden Health Walk. Every single morning before I water, before I do anything else, I walk this garden. Not quickly, not while I'm thinking about something else. Slowly, deliberately, with my eyes actually looking. I call it the Garden Health Walk. And on its own, this habit has saved my harvest more times than any spray ever has. Here's what I'm looking for. First, the undersides of the leaves. Always the undersides. If they're clean and green, I move on. The moment I see silver streaking, stippling, or those tiny dark specks sitting on the surface, that's my signal. That's day 1 of an infestation, not day 10. And day 1 is when I can stop it cold. Here's something I want you to really sit with for a second. The difference between a gardener who loses their harvest and a gardener who doesn't, it usually isn't the spray they use. It isn't the fertilizer or the soil amendments or the raised beds. It's whether they were paying close enough attention to catch the problem on day 1 instead of day 15. That's the real secret, and it costs nothing. Second thing, I check my spacing and airflow. Thrips and fungal disease both explode in crowded, stagnant conditions. When your canopy is too dense, air stops moving through it. Humidity builds up. Things stay wet longer than they should. And that creates exactly the warm, humid, protected environment that pests need to reproduce fast. If your plants are touching each other right now, that is your first problem to fix. Before the spray, before anything else, open up that canopy and let the air move through it. And I know several of you have been asking about soil mounding around the base of your plants and how it connects to all of this. We are doing a full dedicated video on that because it directly affects drainage, root health, and disease pressure in ways most people don't realize. So if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you are right now because that video is coming and you will want to catch it. Third, I remove damaged material the same day I find it. Not tomorrow, not after the next watering, the same day. Don't leave infected leaves on the plant. Don't drop them in the bed where they'll break down back into your soil and keep the cycle going. Bag them, seal it, remove it from the property entirely. And underneath everything I've shown you today, the spray, the technique, the daily walk, there is one foundation that makes all of it either work or fall apart completely. Healthy soil. When your soil biology is strong, your plants are strong. Strong plants resist damage the way a healthy immune system fights off infection. They can take a hit and recover. Stressed plants, plants in poor soil, overwatered, nutrient depleted, they go down fast. The same thrip population that barely affects a healthy plant will absolutely devastate a stressed one. Build your soil, feed your biology. That is where real pest resistance begins. Here's what I want you to carry out of this video today. Going organic doesn't mean accepting that pests are just part of the deal. It doesn't mean watching your harvest slowly disappear and calling it natural. It means becoming a more present gardener, more observant, more consistent. The difference between a garden that survives the season and one that doesn't almost always comes down to one thing. Did you catch it early enough? Flip the leaves, walk the beds every morning, spray in the evening. Do it consistently. That's the whole system, and it works. Now I have a question for you. What is currently happening in your garden right now? What are you seeing that you're not sure about? Drop it in the comments below whether it's thrips, aphids, whitefly, spider mites, or something you can't even identify yet. Tell me exactly what you're seeing, because the next garden health clinic video is going to be built around your answers. Your garden problems become the content. Your questions shape what we cover. That's how this channel works, and that's what makes it different. And if this video gave you something real today, a new way to look at your plants, a spray that actually works, a system you can actually stick to, then hit that subscribe button. Because this is Backyard Harvest Life. And we don't just grow food out here. We grow better gardeners. Now, close this video and go check your leaves.